Have you ever felt like you needed to speak, but something inside you just froze you? Like deep down you knew exactly what to do, but the fear of getting it wrong, the fear of being rejected, or even the fear of losing something important was louder than your courage. And then you stay silent. You put it off. You think about it a little more. You wait for the perfect moment. But that moment never comes. And over time, silence starts to feel more comfortable than making a decision. But here's a truth no one likes to admit. Not every silence is wisdom. Sometimes, it's just fear in disguise. And maybe you don't realize it, but that silence might be pulling you away from exactly what you were meant to live. And it was exactly in that place of doubt, of pressure, of fear, that Esther found herself. But before you understand the decision she made, you need to understand the weight of her story. Esther wasn't born into privilege. She was a young Jewish woman, an orphan, raised by her cousin, in a people living under the rule of a powerful empire. She had no control over her own future, until, completely unexpectedly, she was taken to the palace. Chosen, out of many women, she became queen. But there was an important detail. She hid who she really was. No one knew her background. No one knew her people. She was in a place of prominence, but living with a hidden identity. Now think about the weight of that. Being in a place where you should take a stand, but feeling like you can't fully be who you are. And then, everything changes. A decree is signed. Her people would be destroyed. Men, women, entire families. And suddenly, that position that seemed like just a privilege turns into responsibility. Because now, she could do something. But doing something came at a high cost. To speak to the king, she had to be summoned. And if she entered without permission, she could die. No explanation. No second chance. Now tell me, would you have the courage? Because it's easy to look at a finished story and think, of course she had to act. But when it's you, when it's your reputation, your relationship, your safety, the decision feels different. And for a moment, Esther thought about doing nothing. She thought about protecting herself, about staying silent, about leaving things as they were. And this is where the story starts to look like yours. How many times have you done this? You knew you needed to take a stand, but chose to avoid conflict. You knew you needed to make a decision, but put it off. You knew something was wrong, but preferred to pretend it had nothing to do with you. And little by little, silence became a habit. And the habit became a prison. But there came a moment when Esther couldn't run anymore. She received a message that changed everything. Basically, it said, if you keep silent, don't think you'll escape the consequences. And maybe you were placed exactly where you are for a moment like this. Now stop and really think about that. What if where you are today is not by accident? What if the situations you're living through are not random? What if there's something you need to do, but you've been putting it off because of fear? Because fear will always give you convincing arguments. It's not the right time. Wait a little longer. Better not risk it. But the truth is, staying still is also a choice, and it also has consequences. And it was at this point that Esther made a decision that changed everything. She decided to act, even with fear, even without guarantees, even knowing it could go wrong. She understood that the risk of doing nothing was greater than the risk of trying. And maybe that's exactly what you need to understand today. You don't need to be ready. You need to be willing. Because waiting to feel completely secure is a trap. Courage doesn't come before the decision. It comes after. And maybe what's missing in your life isn't direction. It's positioning. You already know. Deep down, You already know, but you keep putting it off. You keep negotiating with fear. You keep waiting for a sign that's already been given. And in the meantime, your life stays stuck. Things don't move forward. Decisions don't progress. And you feel like you could be living more, but you're not. And let me tell you something very carefully. God doesn't place you somewhere without expecting a response from you. And not responding is also a response. But here's the part you might need to hear the most. You're not alone in this. Esther wasn't either. She prepared herself. She sought direction. She strengthened herself before acting. And when she decided to take a stand, things started to change. Not because it got easy, but because she stopped running. And maybe what you need today isn't more time. It's a decision. Even with fear. Even without control. Even without knowing everything. Because some opportunities don't come back. And some decisions define entire destinies. And that's how Esther stopped being just someone with a position and became someone who fulfilled a purpose. If this spoke to you, don't ignore it. In what area of your life do you know you need to stop staying silent? Tell me here in the comments. And if this content helped you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any video from our community.